Alright, hey everybody, it's Leanne. It's October the 2nd, and I'm underneath this huge bridge, and what's on top of the bridge is the Don Valley Parkway, which is a major 6-lane highway that goes from the 401, which is a main east-west highway corridor across Toronto, down to downtown Toronto, down to the waterfront. Alright, and I'm standing next to this creek called Taylor Creek. And Taylor Creek exits into another major river system called the Don Valley. So the east and west Don Valley rivers actually join up just up here. So it's actually a convergence, a confluence of three water arteries with irrigation just over here. Anyway, I've been through here a million times, and it was just 3 weeks ago I was walking through. I haven't been here for, I don't know, since the summer, and it was the first time I actually looked across the way here and saw all these melt lines of these massive stone pieces. So I'm gonna go over there and show you. I've gotta walk around. But first thing I just want to throw out there is it makes me wonder how old these roadway systems are. Are they really in our timeline? Or, as Martin Lidke always says, you know, did they stop the calendars and use the remaining infrastructure left over from the last X Factor event and use the pre-existing foundations and just build modern above it? Just throwing it out there, I don't know, makes me wonder. But just looking at these pieces, see how they all fit together like these puzzle pieces. Alright, nobody quarried these pieces this shape and then fit them perfectly to fit like this. Alright, not at all. To me, this is melted brick, and the whole backside is melted brick, and there's still some melted brick showing. I'll show you in just a second. Alright, it appears to me that the bricks underwent an extreme heat event and ballooned out, and not balloon as in round, but expanded, blended, and then in its cooling moment or phase, they solidified into these puzzle pieces that I see all along Lake Ontario as well. So if you look carefully at these pieces, you see that there's all sorts of these melt lines. And one could maybe say, well, that's just what they do to dig these pieces out of the ground and quarry them. Yeah, I know that they use dynamite and things like that, but when you start to look at these marks, there are different lengths, there are different angles, and again, how would they fit them together so perfectly like this? Alright? Just above here, where did it go? Right here is actually some unmelted bricks right there, okay, which I believe all of this was at one point. Okay, so those aren't quite transitioned. I'm going to go over there in just a second and take a look. I just wanted to show you what's here, and I see the same behind me along the Don Valley. I'll maybe show you some on my way back. Like, you look at some of these pieces, check this out. As I take a header, this sand on this side is really slippery and fine. Let's check this out. Okay, really? Look at all of this. It's like a serrated edge on two sides of this big piece here. And underneath, okay, nobody quarries stone like this and then does the math, plans it all out, and then pieces it together. I believe these are melt lines. And in fact, if you look down here, and there's brick. If you look down here, you can actually see almost intact bricks, white, blended and melted with the rest. Okay, that makes no sense there and there. Okay, and look at that one up there. Yeah, incredible, isn't it? It's seriously nuts. So, and you can still see some of the transition work up there. So let's go over there and have a better look. If you look this way, so you can see there's the Don River where it connects with the Taylor Creek right here. This side obviously was blown out, really dustified, but this side remains intact, sort of. Now farther up the creek here, you're not going to believe it, but there's more of the caged brick just around the corner here. And I contend that all of these water systems, at least in this area of Toronto, the creeks in and around the city of Toronto, at one point all had these caged bricks that have since been zapped. In fact, you can see a small chunk of it. There's a brick. Oh, and brick. You can see a small chunk of it right there. It's all grown over. I'm trying to bring it in here. See that right there? That's caged heated brick right there. Okay. So we follow that. It eventually blends into these big flat pieces, just like along Lake Ontario. You start seeing melt lines. Okay, we've got these holes. Who knows what was in those at one point? Another one here. Oopsies. Okay. Come on. It's amazing, eh? Just hiding in plain sight. Just nuts. Alright, I'm gonna go this way first, actually, I think, and I'm gonna show you some of the caged brick that's up here, and then I'm gonna walk over here, and we'll go look up here. Okay? Let's go. Alright, I just wanted to show you some of this caged brick that I was just looking at underneath the bridge. So this is where I was just standing under. There's the DVP of the Don Valley Parkway, and you can start to see some in there. It's hard to see it with the foliage. Okay, pretty nuts, huh? Alright, let's go. Alright, this is much better in the shade here. You can see on the far side of Taylor Creek there's still a few levels of the caged brick. Okay, still standing. The bottom level's been blown out and rockified or dustified, and it's the pebble that you actually see in like this right here. I think would have been a whole level of the caged brick. A little bit picks up there, and then more picks up around the corner. But and I'm standing on a whole bunch right here. Right here goes all along this side. Okay. And then there's a second level down there, which still is fairly intact. Some of it's the rocks have fallen out. Cooked bricks, but if you look now on this side, see if this picks up. And so I started this video just around this corner, not too far down there, but another, I don't know, 100 meters or so. And of course we've got this old world storm sewer system, probably, I'm assuming. So yeah, there's still 2 tiers left here. Now farther upstream, where it presently is closed off, which worries me. There are some sections that are 4 or 5 tiers high still intact, which again, that's part of my video that I need to just put it there and not worry about making it shorter than it is. I just know people's attention sometimes starts to wane after 20 minutes, so just doing my best to make it bite-sizable for viewers. Alright, so let's cross this creek and let's get to the other side. Alright, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. Here's Taylor Creek. I'm just on a bridge crossing it. There's some of this old melted brick, cooked brick, heated brick in these fenced gabions, I believe that they're called. Okay. Now, I've studied this creek at length, and I contend that these, when heated, turn into these blocks right here. They blockify. And there's transition points all along this creek where there's massive blocks like this, and then there's blowouts, and then there's caged brick show up, and there's blowouts, more blocks. There's no rhyme or reason whatsoever. Okay, and you can see not too far up here there is a transition, and you see some of the flat looking melted numbers that I was just looking at under the bridge behind me. Now if you go on this side, okay, we've got these massive blocks, and then there's a transition right here, and we're back to the caged brick. Okay, so there's a nice example right there, which I hadn't documented yet. And then we've got these long pebblecrete, we call them numbers. Okay, nice and rectangular, prism-like. Okay, and on this side, we've got more of these caged bricks, way leaning over. They've been through the ringer, that's for sure. And the level underneath is all blown out. Still a little bit of fencing left, but the bricks have rockified and they've just fallen through. Okay, so Look at the angle, and I have found still orange, ready, intact bricks on this creek in these cages, these caged brick bundles. Okay, so yeah, that's what I think. Let's keep going. All right, so I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Not one to not repeat myself, I'm sorry. So I'm just looking at this massive tree here, okay? Huge, like what would that be, 150 years old? Who knows, maybe a couple hundred, the one across this way here, okay? Absolutely massive. But then we've got these caged bricks underneath it. So these bricks have to predate the size or the age of that tree. And what is that, 200 years old at least, maybe, or more, okay? So we know that Toronto's a young city. Really kicked into gear in the 60s, they say, so they say. I think otherwise, based on the evidence I've been finding. Okay, but you can't be digging at the edge of this creek and then placing these bundles here just for water erosion and then still have a tree that size growing, obviously, in the bank, and the roots would be all throughout, okay? It's not gonna happen. Oh, and this is interesting, so I'm on this level here. There's another little pipe. Check out the color of that dirt coming out there. It's very red. Nice, eh? Huh. Okay. Let's keep going. All right, I hope you can see this. There's the DVP, Don Valley Parkway, Taylor Creek. And across the other way, there's some of the caged brick. Oh, it's gonna be too bright, darn it. Take my word for it. Some of it ends right there and it just disappears into the bank. It just disappears, just dustifies, and then out pops these flat slabs that, in my opinion, were just heated bricks, probably from the caged brick, just coming right out of the ground, the river, with trees growing on top of it. Let's head over here. So this is neat. I'm just on the other side here, and what was I going to show you? Oh yeah, to start, some of these pieces almost look like coral. They're so cooked through, and this viscous, or they bubble through, and here you can really see it's a very different looking material all the way down. And also from this vantage, well, you can see the melt lines. You can also see that there's a layer that goes deeper into the river, into the creek, and you still have the melt lines going on down there. And this is also a good view to see how perfectly fitted they are to its surrounding slabs. Okay? Just perfectly, like, look at that. Check out that crease. That's nuts. Nobody placed it there. Nobody quarried it and was like, yeah, that's gonna fit perfectly. No. It's a good piece down there. And so I'm just standing on the edge here, and this whole ground is brick. Some of it's dustified to sand. Bricks show through. And here, and then here's where some of the brick-looking bricks blend into these bigger slabs. Now, unfortunately, because it's so sandy here, it's hard to really see clearly any colors or any more clear differentiation. But here we are. It's a little heated brick, very much like a little cobblestone. Okay, they're the shape of brick still. The color's cooked out, and they're bigger.